Good morning, everyone. Dr. Velvet, the metaphysician, here with Table Talk. Now, this one's a really juicy podcast for me today because I wrote a newsletter that went out on Sunday regarding about being a director. Now, before you tune me out, I want you to hear this. Even if you are a sole practitioner, you are a director of your practice. And when you take that ownership, when you really live it, people see it. They see you as a place of authority and they'll refer more to you. They trust you more. So people don't trust you just because of your technique. They trust you in the level of confidence you have and the way that you're building your own business. So, with that being said, I really wanted to expand on something I shared in my newsletter this Sunday. And I want to acknowledge something that I see. I see it all the time is that people are posting more. They're trying to stay consistent and they're looking for people. Now, I want to just pause here for a second because we really need to think about what is it that we're doing on LinkedIn? What is your purpose on being on LinkedIn? Are you trying to get more clients? Is that really the place that you're going to do that? Or are you trying to brand yourself? And here's the thing, because everybody on LinkedIn is trying to offer something, is that now there's this pullback of like, oh my gosh, well, I wonder what their gig is. I wonder what they're trying to offer me. But it is also a great place to look for that offering, to look for that guidance. So I see LinkedIn as a level up. I love Facebook is very emotional. People get intense about the discussions. There's a lot of opinions that flow around. But on LinkedIn, I see it elevated. I see people treating each other with respect and leaning in, wanting to know, well, how are you doing this? And that's why I love LinkedIn, but I really would like to encourage everyone to think about why are you using it? Is it just to post more? Well, is it random thoughts? Are they cohesive? Are you trying to get a point across that's inflammatory? Maybe you're only sticking to one vein. Maybe you have a lot to do with massage and you want to educate, but you also have to have an intention in how you're educating. But this is it. This is really what I'm seeing is that most of it isn't working the way that people had hoped. It's not working the way that they had hoped that it would. So we need to look at why is that? Well, as a marketing director in the past, I can tell you I have a lot of experience when it comes to marketing. And one of the ways that we used to market was that we had to tell everyone everything because we didn't have Google, we didn't have sources, the internet, that where people went and just looked for what they wanted. So it was really our responsibility in that time when I was a marketing director is that you let everyone know everything that you have to offer and why they wanted you. And marketing didn't really used to be posting constantly, folks. We didn't post. We didn't have Facebook. We didn't have all of these social media sites where we could just post whatever we wanted. And I could tell you now that even if that were true, my VP would have told me, don't you get on social media, right? And the old way of marketing used to be everywhere. It just used to be everywhere. But we're not anymore. And I think that's a good thing. But the real message that I wanted to get in my newsletter, and I hope it landed well, is that I have built multiple businesses that has never grown like that. 7 businesses that never had social media, that never had me being everywhere, marketing everywhere. That's not how I grew them. With that being said, I want you to just take a minute because I just thought of this. I'd like for you to just jot down. If that means you want to pause this while you're in the moment of the energy of it, I encourage you to. Is I want you to write down, how are you building your business? How are you getting people? How are you marketing? And you have to be honest with yourself. Maybe you're not marketing. Maybe you don't know what marketing is. But we talked about that on another video as well. Because when you start talking marketing to massage therapists and other wellness practitioners, they kind of freeze up. They're like, oh, marketing, that's nasty. I don't want to seem like I'm selling. Well, marketing has absolutely nothing to do with selling. And I can tell you for a fact that is true because as a marketing director, my job was not to sell anybody on anything. I had a team to do that. I had a team to go in and finish that. So why is marketing so different than selling? Well, let's just stay with me because this may be something you've not ever heard before. And stay with me over the course of time so that things can begin to click, that you'll be able to put the puzzle pieces together for yourself, which are going to be so much more profound than if I just showed you the whole put together puzzle. So, even though I'm asking you how you are marketing now, I want you to write these questions down. And I really want you to use them, okay? And I wrote these in my newsletter, so if you haven't seen my newsletter, go check it out. What would it feel like if people came to you rather than you out there searching for that next client? What would it feel like to you if they came to you? Just out of the blue, just start coming to you. Now, some of you may be saying, well, that's never going to happen. Well, I can tell you that it did, and it does. And that is how I've been able to grow my businesses. I was a busy massage therapist, and I was always asking, where are all these people coming from? So they will come to you. So what would it feel like if people came to you? What would it feel like if you didn't have to chase? Wouldn't that feel, or I would say, does it feel liberating? Does it feel expansive? Do you feel that you can breathe? Do you feel like you can have a life? And what would it feel like if others shared your work, even if they weren't your clients? Isn't that amazing? How would that feel? So if you want to take some time and pause this video to really reflect on these, fine, or just pause it so you can get the question down so that you can reflect on them at a later time, even better. So what we have to really think about with what's happening on social media and what's going on so that you know how you're working is that people are waiting. People are watching, but people are also overthinking. And a lot of times that's what's happening with you. Is you're watching, you're thinking, you might respond when you really should have just been thinking about what your intention is. So the ones who are building with intention, they're the ones that are getting seen. They're the ones that are being asked. They are the ones that are being sought after. Now, let's pause for a second, because if your intention is to sell your book, okay, are you going to now not set the intention to build that structure around it so that now you have them eating out of your hand, or are you just going willy-nilly all over the post of other people's posts saying, well, I have a book you can read? I specialize in this. How do I know that? How do they know that? How did you become an authority just because you wrote a book? And was it based on somebody else's work? Or is it based on your story? And there is one thing that people will tell you, and the reason that these books that I have written have come out is because when I have spoken with people, they have always said, Dr. Velvet, you need to write a book. People need to hear this. Now, when I wrote these books, they were for the intention of the massage therapist. That was my whole focus. Not at any time did I think that a wellness practitioner was going to fall into getting these books. And I can tell you, my world opened up. I realized that it wasn't just massage therapists that were book solid and still broke. I realized that a lot of wellness practitioners are feeling the same thing all the time. And that there's this roller coaster ride within their business because there is no structure. Folks, it's more than just the bodies that you have on the table. And if you didn't see that post, then please go back and look at it. Search for it. 5 more bodies. That is a symbol of how tired massage therapists feel. It's the brokenness that's happening within inside of them, that they're now counting down bodies on the table and looking forward to getting away from the bodies. Looking forward to going home. Now, I look forward to going home too, but I loved every single client that was on my table. I took my time with them, but I had structure in place that kept me from feeling burned out. You can't do that in 30 years of practice unless you have structure. You have to have structure. And many of you think, well, if I just have ergonomics, I can do massage forever. Ergonomics is important. Taking care of our bodies are important. But there's something even much more important that many forget to see. And that's the structure beyond the table. It's how are you building that wealth even when you're not working hands-on. So with that being said, that there's a difference between posting and positioning. And you really need to reflect. I invite you to reflect. Just go in. Am I just posting to be posting? Am I just posting because I think I know it all? Am I posting because I don't agree with this person? Am I posting stirring up stuff? Or do I really want to position myself? Now, here's the thing. If you have just been posting, don't feel like, oh my gosh, I really have got to start from scratch. No, you don't. You don't have to start from scratch. You've got to ask those other questions that you just wrote down for a minute ago. You really need to know what your intention is, because I can tell you what I see a lot of times when somebody is promoting their product. I want to say their product is that I wouldn't want to do business with them anyway because of how they came at me, not with me, not for me, but at me. Now, I've been doing this for a while, and some of the stuff that I have put has allowed me to do a little research. So any good author is going to do their research. They're going to put things out there to see how people respond. They're going to put something out there that's going to get people to think and ask questions. And so for the last 3 years, that's exactly what I've been doing. Watching how people respond, watching how people interact with each other, seeing what's working when a person does something that is just posting rather than positioning. And you might be asking, well, why did you do that? Well, I did it so that I could have a basis and the proof that I needed to support my books. Not just one of them, all of them. Every single one of them. So there's a difference between posting and positioning, and I really welcome you to think about what you're doing. And it doesn't matter how long you've been in this business. You're never too old to grow something that will grow beyond you, something that people are going to want to be with you. Now, some of you may have followed my story, so I'm going to share this with you again. But the first time that I retired from massage, I was 45 years old. I sold my practice and thought, oh man, this is the life. I'm going to get to go out there. I can do whatever I want. I can go to lunch when I want. I can go shopping when I want. My husband was still working, but that wasn't based on his income. It was based on mine. I was just like, now I have freedom. Well, first 3 months, that's great, because you're pampering yourself, you're feeling good, you're not feeling that burned out situation, you're not dealing with anybody, you're not having to put your hands on somebody all day long, you just get to sit and be. How long do you think that it would take you if you were put into that situation before you realized there was so much more to life? And that's what happened to me. Didn't take me long. I was like, I am here to help people. I'm not here to sit and eat bonbons all day or go shopping whenever I want. I really love the structure of helping others. So when I went back into massage, like I said, it didn't take long. I think it was like 6 months, 6 months to 8 months, maybe, give or take a little bit. Is that now it was me wanting to help even more therapists because I had already done my structure, done my practice, put me in a position where I could retire at a very young age. And I think I was only in massage. I think I started massage when I was maybe 39, maybe 38. So I was a little bit older. So I wasn't in massage very long before I got to sell my first practice. So when I came back, it was more about giving more to the community through the massage community and helping other practitioners to learn how to build that structure by seeing it and emulating it, providing them with an opportunity that they just couldn't say no to. And I love that I was able to help the community. So much so that when I started writing for Massage Today magazine, I was called upon very often to come and do presentations for local organizations, local chapters. Some of you really want that. Some of you want to be presenting. But what is your intention? So when we wrap this up, the real problem isn't about social media. It's not about algorithms, and it's not even about timing. Really, the issue is about that there's no plan, there's no structure, and there's no direction. That's really what it is. But nobody taught that to you. When you go to school, you're taught how to do massage. You're not taught how to build structure. You're not taught how to build a business. You're not taught how to be successful. And they promise you this whole idea that, oh, well, you'll get to always have a job because you can be a sole practitioner. You never have to work for anybody. But then massage therapists leave school and they find that they can't find clients. So what do? They fall into somebody else's structure, and then they're not happy because that structure is not working. So they're working under another director's idea about how to be fruitful, how to help other people. But a sole practitioner has so much more opportunities and availability to them if they knew how to build that structure. and if they knew what their true intention was. So that's what I love about this, that every single one of you, whether you're a soul practitioner or not, you are the director of your practice. I want you to really feel that for a minute. Just sit back and say, oh, I am a director of my own practice. Matter of fact, when I ask a lot of soul practitioners where they work, they give me the name of their business, but never tell me that they are the owner. They never say, I'm the owner and operator of. They simply say, oh, I work at, or I have a clinic called. There's a disconnect. There's no ownership. And the ownership comes through the feeling and bringing it all together so that everybody can see it and feel it and hear it, touch it, all of those components. And as a director, I want you to kind of keep into your mind is that you're not failing because you're not doing the work. You're putting the work in, but rather it's that they keep doing it the same way, hoping something changes. Just keep doing it the same way. Something's got to give. Something's going to change eventually. No, it has to happen within you first. And then at some point, that's not confusion. That's a decision. Okay, so let's just sit with that for a second. Is that that's not confusion. That's a decision that people have made to do it that way. So if you're serious about building this, then it's time to build with a plan. This isn't about hype. This isn't about pressure. This is just clarity. That's all that it is. I'm not going to sit around and tell you all my amazing stories of how I've been so successful, but rather I'm going to let you think about it. I'm going to let you feel it. I'm going to show it to you so that you can take ownership of it. So clarity is what creates movement, and that's what I have been positioning all along. It's not telling you how to do something, but rather getting clear, asking the right questions. And what happens is that this structure, it creates results. So you've got your clarity that's creating the movement, but you have the structure that now is creating the results. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that beautiful? I mean, have you ever really thought of it that way? That clarity creates the movement and that structure creates the results. So you might as well call me the container queen. And my husband will even tell you, like when he's looking at me, and matter of fact, he has said this before. Someone just say what he has said to me before. He says, Velvet, you think different than other people. You compartmentalize. Now, he said that. Now, I brought up a memory when I was in x-ray school, and I remember my professor saying, Velvet, you are a little older than the rest of the students, but the one thing that you do different than them is that you don't keep everything in the forefront of your mind. You compartmentalize, and that is your gift. Well, I never even thought that I was doing such a thing. It was an unconscious competence, you might want to say, that I had, is that I didn't have to think about it. I just did it. I wasn't compartmentalizing my own brain. My brain was doing it naturally. And that, my friends, is where success lives. If you're scattered all the time and you're not putting things into categories, and if you're not putting things into containers, you're going to be wasting a lot of energy trying to get where you want to be. Some of you are already starting to worry of, what if I'm no longer able to do this? And some of you think, oh, I'm going to do this forever because I'm just going to teach. So there was a really neat conversation that happened at a small business forum that I had attended last week. And they were talking about how all of these education programs were now being taken over by AI. That they can be done online, and a video just like me, like here I am, my picture, and now that AI is the one who is speaking for me. So when I was listening to them, I was like, that's interesting because there has to be some hands-on. Where are we going with this? So I had not gone through the resource tables yet. And as I was there was a resource of a local community college that now was teaching massage and providing continuing education. Guess what? AI. But you know what AI cannot teach you? It cannot teach you how to feel through experience. AI doesn't have the experience that I bring, that can see through all of the compartments in my brain how things fit together. Now, if I dumped everything I knew into AI, it might come up with a pretty good idea, but it can't touch the wisdom that is in my brain, nor can it share the level of success that I have personally experienced with you. Because AI is based on assumptions. It'll spit something out of like, okay, well, this is what we need to do. And you can do it, and it's not going to work. Why doesn't it work? Why does it work for some people but not for others? And see, that's what a real human brings. But we do need to be smart. We need to build that structure so that we are the experts. I can tell you, I'm seeing it out there. You guys have a lot of potential out there. And sometimes when I see it just falling on the ground, I'm like, oh my gosh, this could have been so much better. They don't have to work so hard. What are they going to do beyond the table? I hope you've enjoyed this episode. I know it's a little longer than the ones that I've done in the past, but I really wanted you to know, as a culmination of everything that we've done so far through all the table talks that have been happening since the beginning of the year, is that everything is based on this wisdom and success that I have lived and breathed. And I'm here for you. I want you to be as successful as you want to be. So even if it's just a little bit, like maybe you would just like to have a few more clients coming in through the week. Maybe you just want a little extra residual income so that you're not having to work so hard. But I'm your gal. So take this table talk and really lap it up, because this was a winner, guys. And I look forward to hearing from you. And I'll be seeing you next week with a new podcast, new table talk, and a new newsletter.